Doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. Planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got two hearts, your life is saved. Run into the master, raw Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not Rick. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else. Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride, it's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space, oh what's that? Exterminate.
Cyberman, a Daleks, baby.
Would you like a jelly baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go, a new adventure, Geronimo! I am fantastic, so are you, best come with me, I'm Doctor Who. To a brand new episode of D4WH, I'm Adam O'Sullivan, and joining me as always is Hello Lefty, Nicchia Shoot.
I'm going to always answer to that now. Hello, Lefty.
Sounds like Hello Nurse from Animaniacs. Hello Nurse.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you going with this classic episode stuff that we're doing?
Yeah, if you've listened to last week's episode, you'll know. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, we recommend you going and having a listen because once again we are going solo as we continue to look at the classic episode Genesis of the Daleks.
One of the best ever classic
And
episodes.
I will let you know at the end of this episode what I think.
Oh, you know he'll hate it because it won't have been quick and he'll have to have watched,
There is padding. Let's just say there's a lot of padding.
They were good at padding. I think life is better with a bit of padding. You're just going to rush through life?
Yeah. I was going to say I don't agree, but then if you've ever seen a picture of me, you'll know that I'm trying to push forward the idea that I do agree. But before we get back into that...
Oh, okay.
We start as we always do with Doctor Who news.
Ooh.
Alex Kingston...
I love River.
Was interviewed by the Radio Times, and during the interview, she talks about running into the 13th Doctor herself, Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, please put those two in an episode together.
Well, this was a while ago. They were both at San Diego Comic-Con with the Doctor Who BBC America Twitter account, tweeting out a photo of the two together on July the 21st, 2018.
Wow.
However, Kingston recently has let slip some details of what the two talked about during the meeting, stating, "We chatted about me coming back to Doctor Who."
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh,
Unfortunately,
yes.
she didn't reveal any more about the meeting, like what Whittaker's response was or what has come from it since, but we lie in anticipation about the possibility.
I think that would be interesting because Jodie Whittaker's Doctor is very much like Matt Smith's in that she's quite clueless.
Yeah.
Remember when Graham put the hand on her shoulder and she like, "Ooh, what's So,
I think River Song would just go in for a kiss.
I think so too. I think so too.
And more recently, in April 2019, Radio Times published an interview with Michelle Gomez about being in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. However, as it's a UK magazine, they of course spent a little bit of time talking about Gomez's time on Doctor Who. When asked if Missy should return to confront Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor, Gomez responded, "Oh gosh, yeah. Of course I would. I'd love a little run around with her. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I'm completely open to it. And I'd love to see Missy come back in and just get a play again. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm always open to offers."
Well, that's not how you make porridge.
That's no my go-go-mobile.
I can't believe they brought that ad back in Australia, which is the only Scottish accent I ever knew was this little kid going, "But that's not how you make porridge."
Oh, for me it was G-O. And if you're not Australian, you have no idea what we're talking about.
It's ads.
So anyway, would it be too much of a fan moment to have River Song and the 13th Doctor with Yaz fighting against Missy?
Oh,
how good would that be?
Oh my God, the Crybabies would just go mad. They would think women were taking over the world. Oh.
And we just named the episode Periods.
Yeah. And other icky things.
Well, it's dealing with periods of time.
Yeah, I know, but I think that I'd like to get them back. But do you know who I've decided we should get back and fix up their story? There's two of them.
All right.
One, Martha.
Okay.
Let's fix up her story.
All right, yes. I thought you were saying Martha should come back and fix up the season.
No, fix up her story. I don't like, we need to give her a bit more. And Donna. Let's bring Donna back.
Donna's story has ended.
Oh, no, and let's get her memory back.
Oh,
she won't want to go.
Her brain would burn out.
Let's fix that. I could fix
it. All right. Well, you should suggest that as your next audio play.
I will, because I didn't win. Thank God. Ha, Ben.
Anyway, previously on D4WH.
Eject.
I reckon that the BBC had a bunch of period-era weaponry lying around and only enough budget to make one futuristic gun. Oh,
Why didn't they do that then?
because they needed a cliffhanger. You just did that to add an extra 10 minutes to the episode.
Okay. Well, he didn't like that bit. I liked that bit. Oh, look, Beck's loving this. She's doodling.
Oh, I'm so glad we have a tech.
So she can doodle.
The Doctor sticks his stalactite in Harry's clam to give him release.
Nobody gave a shit.
Where's the woman?
This is Nicchia's podcast. Nicchia podcasting on her own.
It's different to mine.
Your phone's different from mine.
Your phone's different from mine. It doesn't work.
Is it just me, or does Davros's backplate look like someone giving the finger?
Did you have a break in between?
Does that make the clams the Jar Jar of Doctor Who? We now return you to your regularly scheduled program. Dun 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 dun. In the fourth episode, the Doctor is made to watch the countdown of the rocket. I just love that there's two buttons right beside each other, one to launch the rocket and the other to completely destroy the rocket.
I just like all of the technology and the...
I love that everyone's like, okay, so put the control panel over there and we'll have a screen here. And can you put the big red button that destroys all of my work here? Sorry, what? Yeah, I want just one button. Just one button that completely destroys everything I've been working towards up till now.
What, do you think maybe that's what they've got for the US and the Russian nuclear? Just those little buttons.
Are you sure you don't want a button that just turns it off? Yeah. No. I want it to completely destroy everything. I want it to blow it all up.
My life's work.
In case I decide to. And with the rocket, make sure you put it directly beside the button that launches it. Just in case I'm a little bit drunk, we had a boozy lunch, and I accidentally destroy everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gone.
I know in the visual sense.
Have you watched any old James Bond?
I know. But it always seems so crazy ridiculous.
Yes, well,
Sir,
anyway.
Are you sure you pressed the go button?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
Oh, God,
I think
I hope
everything's
so.
exploding, so...
Hang on.
The Khaleds are destroyed, and the Doctor believes that Harry and Sarah Jane are dead.
Oh, and he's very cross.
It's very strange that the companions would die off screen.
Yeah, no, they die on screen. On screen.
Davros uses this to accuse Ronson of betraying the Khaleds and has the Daleks exterminate him. He then sends the Daleks to wipe out the Thals. One of the funniest parts of this story is watching Davros in his chair costume scoot across the room holding a piece of paper in his hand. Scoot.
I mean, I don't understand. Why doesn't someone just tip him over? I mean, really, wouldn't that just solved the problem?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a turtle. Put him on his back. He ain't getting up.
Well, he never sleeps. No one sleeps in this episode. No one rests.
Well, Night is not on the screen all the time, so perhaps he's resting
Maybe.
at certain times.
Well, he has to follow Davros around.
Oh, yeah, for the toileting and the eating and the...
At the Thal Dome, the Doctor experiences his shortest capture ever yet.
Oh, I love that.
As he is released and made friends with 70s Olivia Colman with a bowl haircut.
Oh, yeah. Better? Is that her name?
I don't know. I did not write down her name because all I thought was she looks like Olivia Colman if she was in the 70s.
She was originally, in the original script, it was a male character.
Of course it was. Everyone was male.
They changed it to a female character who wore a bib and brace. Very 70s.
Everyone's wearing overalls.
Yeah. I love that. I thought it was nice to finally see a strong female who's, ordering everyone around and getting it all together. Because obviously the men have done a shit job. It's been 100-year war, so...
1,000-year war, isn't it?
1,000-year war. So let the women in.
When the Daleks attack, they escape, and the Doctor tells 70s Olivia Colman to start a resistance movement.
And she goes, oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good.
I don't know who you are, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
Good.
Back down into the caves for the Doctor, where he is captured by the Mutos. That's a 2-for-1 if you're playing the classic Doctor Who bingo. Caves and capturing.
Yeah, and giant clams.
Yeah, well, is that in every episode? Do I have to look?
No.
Oh my god! I would
you have
laugh
to look
out
for
loud.
other giant ridiculous things.
Oh, I can't wait. They're about to bash his head in with a rock when they're stopped by Harry and Sarah Jane, who had a bit of trouble on the road, so they kind of missed the giant firestorm that killed millions of people.
Which is always good to get held up.
Yeah.
And that was probably because Harry stumbled onto a...
No, they say they were attacked by Mutos.
I was hoping that that he's already stumbled on a clam, maybe a mussel.
He had to get his perm redone.
Perm redone. It's his real hair.
Sarah's muto-mate isn't with them, which is important because in the very next scene, he is with them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is too.
He must have been just waiting off screen or something.
Yeah, yeah.
The Doctor asks him to get his people together and join the resistance group. The Scooby Gang come up against their most deadliest enemy yet, the foam clams. And they act as if they're being attacked, as the clams just sit there motionless. I love how they try to cover it up too. They're like, oh, they don't move very fast. That must be why Davros got rid of them. No, they don't move very fast because they're inanimate objects.
It's really like, I'm making a rock. Another one of his. I worked on
Why
rocks.
do I have a feeling that we're probably going to have that episode?
I worked on wood.
Yeah.
None of them worked, but the clam was good.
I would love if there's like an audio episode where it's like, oh no, the clams.
I would like him to have. I hope he just did some experimentation on snails, turtles. I'm trying to think of what are the slowest.
What did he experiment on them?
I don't.
They're just giant clams.
Well, he made them bigger.
Yeah, he showed them off and they're like, yeah, you made bigger clams. I'm pretty sure that's just what they do with cows and pigs today.
So it's just yeah, that's right. So really, if you think about it, Davros would be better in our society now.
Yes,
with
agriculture,
the
yeah.
agriculture, yeah.
It'd be more impressive if he was like, sure, they're clams now, but they started off as a horse.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah, or as one of my people.
Yes.
Yeah. Now
Steve really wanted to be a clam, so I accommodated him.
Are you right, Steve?
Yeah, I'm a clam.
I'm happy.
They come to a tunnel that leads to the bunker, and Sarah Jane asks what happens if there's something nasty waiting for them at the end. The Doctor replies, well, we're fucked then, and then no one goes into the tunnel. I don't know what answer she was expecting.
Yeah. And they didn't even put a plan in place.
No one tells Harry.
No.
He friggin' shoots in.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm a little bit worried. Oh, you didn't want to tell Harry before he left? Yeah, Harry's annoying. Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh.
I know, if we ditch Harry here.
In the bunker, Garmin from the military, because I couldn't think of a nickname for him,
I like Garmin.
tries to convince the scientist that Davros should be stopped. He resists, but offers to talk to the other scientists. Unfortunately, Nida has heard the whole thing and invites Garmin down to the detention room.
Why would you have that conversation in that room with little places where people could hide? Why don't go down to the detention cell then?
But Garmin calls him over, and then the scientist is like, oh, I'm not going over to speak to Garmin. He literally called you over.
Yeah.
And everyone can see that.
I don't know how many scientists they had, but not as many as you would think in a think tank. They didn't have enough
Well, when we have the
extras.
scene later on where they're like, get everybody in the bunker
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And it's like 10 people.
Yeah.
Like, really? When he goes 80%, it makes it sound like a massive amount of people. I thought it was going to be like an auditorium of people.
Yeah.
Nah, it's like 10 people.
Yeah, it's 10 people and no one thinks to push him over. I never understand that. Okay.
Nida knocks out Garmin, giving us our first and only karate chop of the story.
Oh.
They hear someone crawling through the tunnels, and we have 2 captures in a matter of seconds.
Oh, I love it.
Bam, bam, double capture, baby. Davros forces the Doctor to tell him about times when the Daleks are defeated in the future.
Yeah.
So he can improve their programming. He threatens to torture the Doctor's companions, and we enter our 5th episode.
Yes.
Now, I know the Doctor is hooked up to a lie detector, but surely he could figure out a way to trick Davros. Maybe tell him, the Daleks lost this battle because their armor was too good.
Yeah, or
you should make it a little bit more shitty.
Why didn't he say things like, well, because they don't have any pity or mercy, they lost all their fights. That's what I would have said.
Or, if they were allergic to gold, they would have got through this battle.
Yes.
Heck, even modern day lie detectors can be fooled by clenching your butt.
Yeah, and the Doctor, well, I'm sure he's a very good butt clencher.
Oh, I'm
but
sure
he's
he is.
Also a very good liar.
Yes.
So I don't understand that. But anyway.
The information is recorded to a disc about half the size of a vinyl record, which back in the 70s was absolutely tiny. Today, just be like...
It's like an 8-track.
Yeah, do you mean like a little USB, like the size of my thumb? Like,
yeah.
Whoa!
I know, I've got this little dot here and it's got all your information on it.
The Doctor is about to leave and go back to his cell when Davros asks him to take a seat in the torture device he was just hooked up with.
Yeah.
Have a seat. Oh, yeah, this machine that I was just hooked up to? Oh, so
Why
comfy.
not?
So comfy. The Doctor compares the Dalek to a virus that will seek to wipe out all life in the universe.
I think that is a really powerful scene.
Yeah.
That is down to a good script, but 2 great actors. And just the way he's got his shaky hand and he's holding that capsule and then he goes, would I?
It's pretty powerful, but Davros probably loves it.
Oh, he does.
It's a friggin' hard-on for that thing,
yeah,
doesn't he? He's like, oh,
absolutely.
yes, please. please? Where do I get me one of them capsules?
Probably need to catch up with Nida after that.
The doctor overpowers a frail old man in a wheelchair and threatens to shut off his life support if he doesn't order the destruction of the Daleks.
Why doesn't he just... I'm sorry, I would have just turned it off and not turned it back on again. He's seriously, he's the problem. I mean, if you had a chance to go back and shoot Hitler, would you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly. No, I mean, not.
But
not
he needs Davros to order the destruction of the Daleks.
Ah.
He is almost successful, but Nida frees Davros.
He's the wind beneath his wings, isn't
Yeah,
he?
Nida comes in and lifts up Davros and takes him through the rain. Yeah.
I love you.
Nida, you are the wind beneath my wings.
Yes.
Harry and Sarah Jane meet Garman, who tells them that most of the people in the bunker want to stop Davros.
So that's 80%, so what, 8 people?
Well, no, at the time he just says they're in the majority, even though he was captured after having difficulty getting a single scientist to admit he didn't like Davros's plan. He's gone, without speaking to anybody else, he has gone from trying to get one guy to be against Davros to being like, we're in the majority.
Perhaps he's the eternal optimist.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's just, I think if you think positive, he's probably read The Secret.
Yeah.
And if you think positive and put out good things, he probably had a board. What do you call it? A vision board.
A vision board.
Yeah.
Thought you meant a board with like the pins in it and the string.
Not a tic-tac-toe one. No.
Speaking of which, the scientist in question comes to free them, and he tells them that Garman, they have 80% of the people now on his side. But as we see later, that's about 8 people.
Yeah, 8 people. Which isn't much against the Daleks,
No,
is it?
one Dalek would be able, but they have like 20 Daleks.
No, they don't. They have 3, and then they have
They order 20 Daleks.
Yeah,
he orders 20 Daleks, so I assume at some point he's going to have 20 Daleks. Woo. The doctor has returned to the cell, but Harry is now wearing the guard's uniform, even though Garman is already wearing a guard's uniform. The doctor and Garman discuss their plans while Harry gets changed behind them.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
They cut back to the doctor and Harry is like doing up his pants.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell?
I bet Mary Whitehouse didn't like that bit.
Sorry, didn't wear any underwear.
Whoops. Oh, it's caught in the zip.
Oh, and for some reason now he has a cravat that he got from somewhere.
Didn't he have a cravat to start with?
I mean, I couldn't see it. But later on, he wears it underneath his shirt. But I didn't see it in the start, so I don't know.
He used to always wear a cravat, so maybe halfway through they went, hey, don't you always wear a cravat?
Yeah, continuity.
Pop it on. Mm-hmm.
Garman gives Davros an ultimatum to destroy the Daleks, after which they will continue to work under him. So, yeah, they say, look, Davros, we think that you're totally evil, but if you destroy the Daleks, we'll continue working under you.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's no way you'd be able to rebuild the Daleks in secret.
Yeah, because we would be watching you.
Yeah. Davros requests to state his case in front of everyone in the bunker, and then a vote will be cast.
That is such a classic. You are going to die.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I just want to know. No, I'm just going to do it now.
But Davros goes, see, this is their downfall. They have introduced the word democracy. Well, you've been telling everyone this has been part of your plan the whole time. So you expected them to say democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just doing it on the fly. Like, oh, democracy, that'll work even better than what I had planned. I was going to get the clams.
Oh, yes. I'm going to have a
Go,
clam.
my clams.
My clams will eventually get to you.
Meanwhile, the doctor sets charges in the incubator room, but one of the Dalek creatures attacks him.
Yes.
How?
Well, maybe when he was setting the fuses, he accidentally knocked one of their cages and one fell open. You don't know what goes on in the incubator
He picked one up
room.
and he was dancing it around. And then he's like, on his shoulder, and he's like, look, I've got a bit of a pirate. And then it's like, ah.
Perhaps. Or perhaps
Maybe.
he recognised him as a car lad he once knew. You know? My God, Bob, you.
Bob the car lad. Oh
you.
my God, you've evolved.
Yeah, or devolved.
Are you still working in that factory?
Yeah, obviously not.
Obviously not. As we enter the final episode, Harry and Sarah Jane remove the Dalek creature from around the Fourth Doctor's neck. But the Doctor can't bring himself to detonate the explosives, as the Daleks are his most famous enemy.
Oh, no.
I mean, he gives a reason why, but it's basically because you have to still have the Daleks.
But that's true. And it doesn't matter. You can wipe out the Daleks, and guess what? They keep coming back. But
Happens in this friggin' episode. Anyway.
Russell T Davies said that the genesis of the Daleks is the first strike in the Time War.
Oh.
And I love that because it really is.
Yeah.
They're
well,
trying
the
to get rid of
Daleks are like, well, this war's about to end. We need to start another war.
Yeah. But I love the fact that Davros thinks he brings peace if the Daleks are reigning, because then nobody, there'll be nobody else. So it'll all be a peaceful world.
It'll all just be Daleks. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, they couldn't do domestic, life like we do, could they?
No. Yeah, who cleans up after a Dalek?
Yeah. Society would fall apart. There'd be nobody to do the menial jobs. There'd be,
Who cooks for a Dalek?
Yeah. I mean, Dalek comedians, give me a break.
Yeah. So then I was all like, exterminate, exterminate. Am I right? Have you heard of this one? Have you heard of this one? Am I right?
Didn't you like that joke? Didn't you like that joke?
Exterminate.
Yeah.
He kills.
You kill your audience.
Yeah. No, the Doctor can't commit genocide, so I wish someone would just reach over and touch the wires together.
Oh, I wanted Sarah to.
Yes.
Just bump him, Sarah. Oops.
Yeah, but in the nick of time, Garman tells the Doctor that Davros has surrendered, so they head to the meeting, which has about 10 people in it.
Tom Baker being interviewed about that scene, he said, I'm holding there with 2 wires. He said, probably couldn't even start a car battery.
Now, you'll notice that in the scene with the bunker where everyone's supposed to be there, the 3 guards who scanned the Doctor and Harry are not there. So who knows where they are.
Well, maybe they went back to the Citadel, the dome, and then got blown up.
I'm assuming that the scene was filmed on a day when they weren't required.
Yeah, probably. Couldn't afford them that day.
Garman talks, and even though he told Davros that they wanted the Daleks destroyed in the last episode, he's now gone back to wanting the Daleks to survive, but with a conscience again.
Yes.
He really doesn't know what his plan is, does he?
No, he doesn't. He hasn't had time to think about it, really.
Yeah.
He's been captured and not captured and,
The Doctor grabs his stuff, but oh no, the time ring isn't there. Where could it possibly be? Oh, don't worry. Sarah Jane moved 1 meter. Sarah Jane moved 1 meter away and found it. Don't worry about that.
I know. My husband came in, he's watching that and he goes, what, she just picked it up off a desk?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He went, that's the dramatic thing of getting, I went, shut up. Shut up.
This is another thing that annoys me is after all the padding of the previous episodes, there's still padding in this episode, but it's like, oh, we just need to wrap it up real quickly because we need to end the episode.
Yeah. So they could have made getting the time ring back a little more.
Yes.
A little, yeah.
But if they had to put it in a previous episode, because the last episode, it's like, we need to wrap this up real quick.
Yeah, that's true. And you do get the feeling that they're going, come on. Let's get going, right?
The Daleks have returned to the bunker and the Resistance follows them in so they can set up explosives at the entrance to trap them inside.
Ooh.
The Scooby Gang capture Nida leaving the room and the time ring falls off in the scuffle.
Oh, God.
And the Doctor isn't like,
Didn't
where's
notice
my
it.
jewellery?
Yeah, didn't
Wearing so much
notice
shit
it.
already.
Why did he put it in his pocket?
Or under his hat. That seems to stay on pretty
Tie
well.
it to his scarf.
Yes. They take Nida to retrieve the recording and the Doctor uses a Dalek gun to destroy it, but Nida runs, trapping them inside the Davros' office. But they discover that they don't have a time ring, so they have to escape. So I'm counting that as a capture.
All right, that's fair enough.
However, the sonic screwdriver, a plot device created so that the Doctor could get through locked doors, can't get through a locked door.
Yeah, and it's not even made of wood.
Yes. In the meantime, they sit back and watch Davros find out the loyal scientists before allowing the Daleks to kill the remaining elite.
There is a lot of use of everyone sitting around watching a monitor at the end there. That did kind of bother me.
Yep.
After I thought, that's a really cheap storytelling thing. But anyway.
It's to show that these characters have the information.
Yeah.
I thought when they were the Resistance were watching it on that black and white screen, I thought it was going to turn into colour and you'd be like inside the room with them, but never happened.
Probably couldn't afford that. Yeah.
The Scooby Gang are let out by the Muto friend. They go back and find the time ring, and the Muto takes Harry and Sarah Jane back to the entrance of the bunker. I know I'm not entirely sure if I'm allowed to say the word Muto. It might be their word for themselves.
Yes, I think just genetically modified in I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Muto sounds awful.
Well, apparently it's because of the chemical weapons that they used. So they're not even doing it on themselves.
No, it's hideous.
The Doctor wants to go back and destroy the incubator. Thankfully, this time, no Dalek creature attacks his neck.
But the thing is, now, the Doctor could have taken Harry and Sarah with him, gone back to the incubator, destroyed the Daleks, and then grabbed the time ring and buggered off.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have had to wait to blow up. I did point that out to myself as we were going
Oh, I'm
through.
sorry. story. Oh, who's the nerd in this situation?
Well, I just think it could have been a
that
little...
was your one issue with the 6 episodes?
Yes, that's it.
Everything else was fine, but you were like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Why they would do that.
Clams, perfect sense.
I love the clam.
Oh,
I'm getting one.
I hope they get their own series.
I hope they do too. Kissing a clam.
That's the first episode.
I kissed a clam and I liked it.
I kissed a clam and I liked it. He sat there and did nothing.
It's a taste of his fishy breath.
Chapstick.
Well, I like fish fingers. So.
Well, okay, that's what, that's a sexual position, your fish finger. A Dalek does show up before he can detonate the device. The Dalek crawls close to the Doctor and the metal skirt connects the 2 wires, killing the Dalek creatures.
Yes. So there you go. The Daleks kill,
The Daleks kill themselves.
They kill themselves. Losers. Losers.
The Doctor manages to get the entrance just in time before the Resistance seal the entrance. They manage to detonate just before any Daleks can escape. Back in the bunker, the Daleks have turned against Davros. Without emotion, they no longer follow his orders.
And he says, have pity. He's hoisted by his own petard.
That's right. But yeah, I liked it that they turned on him.
Yeah.
However, it is insinuated that they kill the creator. However, we already know that that isn't the case.
Yeah, but I kind of do like that. It was something that as a kid, I didn't see it coming. I didn't think they'd turn on him. And I like that they carried that story through for a lot of the older ones about Davros always trying to get control back of the Daleks, and some of them liking him and some of them not. And when you see him in the classic series, they're kind of keeping him in the basement like their pet.
Seeing him in the new series, he is like ruling the Daleks. So I wasn't expecting them to turn on him. So I thought, that's interesting.
Well, he sort of is and he sort of isn't, remember? Because he's there with Dalek Khan, who's, as nutty as a fruitcake in that episode. And the Daleks are running their own thing. He's almost like in the basement with the Muto Dalek. No, he's there with Dalek Khan, but he's not. He is, but they're tolerating him. They don't unquestionably follow Davros ever.
Okay.
And I like that because they have a Supreme Dalek and they have the Dalek Emperor and they...
Well, you had to make more toys, didn't you?
Yeah, well, that's true. Anyway.
The Doctor, who previously stated that destroying the incubator room would wipe out the Daleks, now states that he's only set them back about 1,000 years.
Yeah, I don't get
weird.
that. Yeah.
He couldn't destroy them. Oh, it's genocide. But now he's like, it's just 1,000 years.
Yeah, they'll
which
come
in a Dalek's lifetime is probably nothing. I mean, even for a Time Lord, it's just a few regenerations.
I think if they wanted to kill the Daleks, there was probably, or wipe them out, there's probably a better way to do it. There was probably a better time to, perhaps take Tom somewhere where he wouldn't get captured every 5 minutes.
Or just keep creating, putting more and more domes over the top.
Yeah.
So that they had to keep, they get to the end and they're like, oh, okay, let's keep going through.
They just could have done a little bit more. But no, that was the thing that bothered me. He just could have taken them with him, and then the time ring, and then of course that's the worst special effect ever when they grab the time ring and
oh, you mean the port key?
Yeah.
Where they basically, and then it's like there's a voiceover and they start spinning around and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And it's just them writhing around on the ground while there's stars in the background. And I was like, wow.
But then they have the Dalek, the close-up of the Dalek.
Oh, yes.
With that. And I liked that.
I am coming to get you, basically, is what it says.
And kids love that.
So that's it. That's the end of our episode. There we go.
It is.
Anything else to say about Genesis of the Daleks?
Look, I love it. I love Genesis of the Daleks. I've got some trivia. I have put most of it in. Let me have a look, see what I haven't talked about.
Okay.
So the objective of this one, and this is probably going to upset you, Adam.
There's a moral.
No. The objective was when they got the first script, they said, let's make it pacey. And they think it's one of the paciest episodes they've ever had. And I've got to say, it possibly is. From Classic Who.
Oh, God. I don't look forward to that.
All right. Well, it's very, very hard to... the thing is that the guy who took over as a script editor, Bob Holmes, he loved gothic horror. So with him and Philip Hinchcliffe, that season just got darker and darker and darker. And even I'm watching it from, as a grown up, put it on, and I went, it's really violent at the beginning. There's gunshots, and I mean, obviously no one's
And then there's
getting
laser shots at the end, and the Dalek shoots people, and it just goes negative.
Yeah, and their gun peels back. Did you notice that?
That was very
weird.
unsettling.
It was. It was almost.
It was like a little flower, and it was like do 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 do.
I know. I thought that was a bit creepy. Terry Nation always said it was his best Dalek script.
Sure.
And I think it was.
I like the one bit of the special effects thing not special effects, but the special features thing I watched was where they're talking about the writing of this episode.
Yeah.
And Barry Letts and Terrence Dix is like talking about how Terry Nation submitted the episode, and they were like, "That's a great Dalek script. In fact, it's incredibly similar to the one you wrote last year,
Yeah.
and the one you wrote the year before that. So, do you maybe want to write something different this time?"
And apparently they said to him, they sat down and said, "Look, you've actually given us this script before." And they said he was such an amiable guy. They went, and he went, "Oh, yeah, you're right. I had to."
And he was probably thinking, "Damn it, they figured it out." Oh.
And then he made, I honestly, I think it's out of the classic series. I think it is the best Dalek story.
Okay.
And
all right.
not everyone will agree with that. And I think it's the beginning of a very dark or darker horror with Doctor Who, which
Is this Tom Baker's first series or second series?
first, because
Right.
Harry's in his first, because he regenerates and he's a bit, they always have that trouble with them. And Harry's his appointed doctor. He's a naval doctor. And when he finally gets in the TARDIS to take off, Harry goes with him to look after him.
Okay.
So, but he doesn't stay long. And then Harry comes back one more time. And then the actor himself found it really hard to get work after Doctor Who. So he was writing novelizations of
right, okay.
target novels for Doctor Who. He wrote a novelization for Splash, the American movie. So, and then he had a heart attack and died way too young. I had a little thing for Harry. He was quite cute. But
I
anyway.
didn't.
No.
Surprisingly.
You had a thing for the clams, didn't you?
Oh, baby.
I got to say, the clams, I went, oh.
Why were
And
they there?
You're probably right. They were just lolling around.
Replace them with any other creature, like a wolf or something.
Or something scary.
Yeah.
I don't know why he wants to. Anyway, yeah, it's like genetically manipulating a prawn or something. It's just not worth it. But I loved revisiting my favorite Doctor and my favorite companion, and yeah,
Sarah Jane's pretty cool.
She's amazing. I loved her. Yeah, so there you go. I loved it. No more trivia. I've given you all my trivia as I've gone through.
And for those counting at home, the capture count was
tell me.
9.
9
captures over 6 episodes.
Oh, geez. I reckon in 4 episodes of the first story of the Trial of the Time Lord, they were captured 9 times in the first.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah. The first episode.
But that's still 1.5 captures per episode.
Well, you got to have something going on.
And I'd say half of those were in the first 2 episodes.
Maybe they needed to come up with some better cliffhangers.
Yes.
Because they had all
they
the
did.
same ones.
No, maybe about it. They did. When you write your character into a thing and you're like, the only way to get out of it is this dumb way, it's like, no, you go back and you rewrite the thing that got them into that dumb thing because you are the writer of this episode. No one has forced you to write the episode the way that it is.
However, if you're shooting an episode a week and you've got to get the script in and they're writing the script or redoing the script while the first one's being filmed, you don't have a lot of time. I think you do a lot on the fly. I mean, I think for the amount of, they had no money or very little money, they couldn't get the extras they wanted, they couldn't get the time they wanted, they couldn't get the locations they wanted, they had to do one a week. I think they did bloody brilliantly. If they gave me that, it would look nothing like what what they've got. It'd be every cliffhanger would just be, oh, should I kill myself? And then the next one, no, I won't. And off they go.
Wow, your series would be dark. Every episode, the Doctor's like, well, I'll just fucking kill myself, I suppose.
But then the next one, he'd go, no, I won't.
Maybe I'll do it in half an hour's time, am I right, kids?
Probably in
Kids, my main audience, kids.
Probably in 23 minutes I'll feel like doing it again. I don't know. It's just having to come up with that. And I mean, I know Dan was saying in our last podcast that, they didn't have things like the books that we've got in the script writing courses and stuff. And
that's true.
They were all just learning. And I think you were like a staff writer. So you learn on the way. But yeah, there you go.
All right. So out of 5, what do you give it?
Okay.
Drum roll, please.
5.
Okay. All right.
I love it. I'll always love it. It's always going to have problems. It's always going to be a classic Who. But screw you all. I love Tom Baker and Sarah and
So you're
Harry.
saying this is the best that the classic episodes have to give us?
There's a couple that are 5s for me, and this is one of them.
Well, this is the last episode of the podcast. Thank you for listening in.
All right. I'm ready for it. Give it to me.
Okay, but before we do, let's compare it up against...
screwing my face up.
Let's
ready.
compare it up against the other episodes you've given 5. Would this be your top 5?
Classic Who, yes.
Okay, but comparing it against...
No, I'm
No,
not
you're
going
not.
to
You're not going to
compare.
compare it against the new ones?
No, because the new ones have got more money and a different format. And I think it would be like comparing apples and clams.
Apples and clams.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Anyway.
But no, if this was in the middle of the new Who run, I would be really concerned about what was happening with Doctor Who.
Okay, but would you rather watch this over something like The Witchfinders?
I know, I'd rather watch The Witchfinders.
Just because it's shorter, or?
Just pacier, shorter.
Yeah.
This is something that I probably watch every couple of years, and I might just watch a couple of the episodes and then, go to the end one or something. It's rare that I watch it all the way through because you got to remember I watched it a lot. Once I got the DVD, I just watched it. So, and I had these all recorded on a tape recorder.
Oh, yes.
Just the audio, and this was one of them. So I kind of knew the dialogue off by heart. But no, it's Classic Who. It's a 5 Classic Who. Trial of the Time Lord would be a 2 Classic Who for me. So no, but
All right. Now the moment you've all been waiting for.
okay, I'm ready.
So I've been a bit quiet at the end here.
No.
Let me say that you unscrunch your face. I'll let you know, but just before I do the score, so you can scrunch your face
Okay.
up. I have nitpicked a lot in this episode.
You have.
Yes, I have, but I do understand that is because this episode and this series is from a completely different time frame to us now.
Yes.
As we mentioned in our Dan Beeston episode, it's difficult for us it's easy for us to look back with hindsight at things that were in the 80s and say, this is terrible based on what we now do. And who knows, in 20 years' time, maybe we'll go back to those long...
And they'll be laughing at Star Wars. Oh, that's hilarious. It's so
exactly.
crap. Yeah.
Having said that, Alien came out in the 70s, and Alien is such a good movie.
It is. It
And
had
it is
a lot
pacey,
more money.
and I know, but I do understand that the reason it is so padded and the reason that it is so slow and so plotting is because of the restraints that they have had on the time and what they had to do. They had to create 52 episodes a year, or how many, God knows how many episodes.
Yeah.
And in the years since, we've realized that it's quality, not quantity.
Yes.
And we are so much better for it. So
I think so too.
So when I look at this, so normally with the modern episodes, I think, will I ever watch this episode again? And that's how I rate the episodes.
Oh, okay.
I can't,
All the classics are
that's-
getting 0
that's-
from you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't rate the classic episodes in the same way because probably I might watch this in like 20 years' time, but I've watched it once. I'm done. I don't think I ever need to watch this again.
I've got a question for
Yes.
you, but did you learn more of the Doctor Who canon from watching this?
Yes.
Are you a more informed Whovian?
Yes, I am.
Good.
So, and it's difficult for me to say I would ever watch this episode again because it is 3 hours long. It is somewhere between 2.5 hours and 3 hours. That is huge.
It is a big commitment.
I don't watch movies because I go, well, I don't have an hour and a half to sit there and watch. So I'm not going to sit.
Me too.
Yeah, I sit on Netflix for 20 minutes and go, well, I've used up my
bored.
time, so I'll just do something else. So no, I'm probably never going to watch this ever again. But I also have to come at it thinking of comparing it to what it was trying to do for the time, the strengths it had during the time, how important it is to Doctor Who. And this episode is very important.
Very.
Because it gives us, not just a recurring character in Davros, but also the start of the Daleks, which is
an
really
origin
interesting.
story, yeah.
So what am I going to give it? That is the thing. What am I going to give it? Am I ever going to watch this episode again? Probably not. Am I going to watch it again in the next 10 years? Absolutely not.
Are you going to tell people you watched it and tell them how much they don't know about the Daleks because now you know more?
Am I going to recommend this to people? Maybe.
Maybe. If they want to know more of the history.
Maybe. If it, and we'll find this out as we watch more classic episodes.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be some that I recommend if people want to watch the classic episodes because it is part of Doctor Who.
It is.
I can't just give people new episodes to watch and say, don't worry about the classics because we are where we are because of these classic episodes.
Absolutely. We would not have lasted this long without those. They just had their time by the 80s.
Putting all of that together and knowing how much this episode means to Doctor Who, scrunch your face up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm also going to give it a 5.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So why? What do you base that on? I mean, I could tell you a million reasons why.
What I've just said, how important it is to the lore of the series.
Yeah.
I feel like that helps. I was teetering between 4 and 5, and I think the importance of this episode to the series is probably what pushed me over to the 5.
Yeah.
But also, having watched those Sylvester McCoy episodes and those Colin Baker episodes have actually helped me because those are so boring and so long and so plotting.
Yep.
And realizing what this could have been.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's actually quite pacey and it's actually quite fast compared to what it could have been.
Absolutely. It could have been, you're right, it's a lot pacier. I mean, they could have put this into 8 episodes.
Oh,
you know,
God.
they could have, and they have done, you know.
And if they had have, then I would probably look, you know, looking at that down. If we go to an 8 episode thing and it doesn't need 8 episodes, you know, like there's a lot in here, and like I said, you could probably cut this down to an hour and a half.
You could.
They padded it out, but not all of those padding things are superfluous. There are a lot of B stories, you know, like within it that are actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say need to be there, but they don't feel just shoehorned in.
Yeah, they don't feel like they just plonked in there or kind of just attached. It does. There was no storyline that jarred for me. Sometimes I'll watch it and I'll go, well, why are they even doing that? That jarred for me. And I found that in Trial of a Time Lord. There was a few bits and I went, you know.
I mean the constant capturing, escaping.
That happens
like
a
that
lot.
is, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
that's a common thing to pad out the episode, and no, don't do that.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh well, you'll like the arc in space because there's no capturing.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. We will see. We'll see. I'll be counting.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like this is actually a pretty good episode. I would recommend it to somebody who wants to watch a classic episode.
I would recommend it to anyone who wants to watch a classic or wants to understand more about the Daleks. Or Davros. I found it, I'm really surprised.
Well, I just thinking about the score, I realized I can't be mean to the classic episodes.
Yeah.
Because they're boring in some parts and because they're super long. I just can't do it because I mean I could, but this would be super boring if our listeners were constantly thinking, oh well, Adam's just going to give every classic episode a 3.
Well, I'm glad that you tried to look at it through a 1975 lens.
Yes.
And give it some of its dues. It is pacey for the classic series. There's I always like the arc in space. I'm not sure how it's going to translate, so that'll be interesting. And the Caves of Androzani with the last Peter Davison story, I really like. Now it'll be interesting to see how much padding when we watch that is in there.
Well, considering how much we made fun of in this episode.
Yeah. But I love that. I honestly think you're right. They were just wandering around and went, hey, there's some clams over here. They didn't seem to be a beach. Where did he get the clams from?
Who knows? Clam chowder. You want to make a really big clam chowder.
He probably sent Nida out to get them.
But going back and thinking, like, if you wanted to re-edit this story today to modern standards, you'd probably just cut it down to an hour and a half, maybe hour 45 minutes. But something like Trial of Time Lords, I mean, oh my God, you're cutting that down to like 20, like a 4-episode story is probably being cut down to 20 minutes, like one episode.
Yeah. Look, it is, and that was my problem with the later ones. Not as much. I mean, they just were not putting any effort in the BBC. They weren't putting any money. Everyone who was doing it were doing the bloody best they could, but you can't do it without the tools.
So, and this is our first review of a classic episode, so I'm glad that it was this episode. I actually quite enjoyed, quite a bit of it. I like Tom Baker's Doctor. I'm interested to see more of his Doctor.
I love his Doctor.
So, I wanted our listeners to think, hey, Adam might actually give a classic episode a 5, or to understand when I give an episode a 1, I've gone through and I've thought about those sorts of things, and it's not just because it's a bad story and it's badly paced, but it's badly paced compared to, and I'll use this episode to compare other classic episodes.
And I think that's what I would do. And for me, this is my 5. There's probably 1 or 2 others. It's probably more if I went back. I don't know, but this is my 5.
It's not the highest 5 I've ever given in my life,
This is my.
But it's still a 5.
Yeah, it's a high 5 for the classic Who for me. But yes, I would rather watch The Witchfinders or The Doctor's Wife because they're quicker and pacier.
Oh, definitely.
But the way it adds to the canon and doesn't waste your time too much, I really like it.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad I watched it. Now that I've watched it, it's just, oh man.
I know, but now you can go up to people.
It's been such a busy week.
You can go up to people and go, Oh, what, you haven't seen Genesis of the Daleks. I mean, you don't really know much about Davros then,
and
do
when
you?
people ask about Doctor Who, I'll get out a coaster and be like, let me explain to you about Doctor Who.
Dickhead. Who is it that when you ask them about the TARDIS or time travel, holds up a coaster and goes, here, let me explain? Because I've been sitting there with a coaster thinking, I don't know how to explain any of it with a coaster.
Oh, well, they're thinking like when it's close to you, it's big, and when it's far away, it's... Yeah, so basically you're
Isn't
entering...
that what Grover does in Sesame Street?
Yeah, so maybe it was Grover.
Yeah.
Maybe Grover sat down with Chris Martin.
This is far away. This is very close. I used to love Grover. So maybe that's what it is. Just thought I'd throw in my Grover bit here.
Yeah, I love when Sesame Street did the Doctor.
Yeah.
D4WH is on Facebook. Give our page a like for updates and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D4WHpod. We'll post questions and polls and would love your input and feedback. Rate and review us on iTunes, recommend us on Facebook and follow us on Podbean. We are also now available on Spotify and Stitcher. Help us get the word out. Tell your friends about us. And if you see someone on the street wearing a Doctor Who shirt, politely go up to them and suggest our podcast. Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Adam, I miss your little stories that you tell at the end. You know, your scenarios where you go on your hot date.
Oh, okay.
And then
Well,
your
I'll-
mother tongue kisses you and, you know, those stories. That's
That's the usual one.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
life. I take them from my life.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
I'll start adding
I
them
would
in
like
again.
more, please.
Okay. All right, we'd like to do a listener shout out. Thank you to Ruben who remixed our theme song.
Yeah, I know. I mean, fantastic,
It's exciting.
Ruben.
It's exciting. Thank you very much. If you have a remix, please send it along and we will try and play a bit of it on our podcast.
Yeah, we can't play all of it, but we'll play a little grab.
Yes.
And we'll make sure it's available.
Yeah, we'll put it
on
up on Facebook. It's got a little bit of the Matt Smith's Doctor theme in it as well. So we'll put the full thing up. We'll play a little bit for you now and thank you very much, Ruben.
Yeah, thanks, Ruben.
Keep listening, and if you have an idea to remix our theme,
Or you think you'd like to write us a new one, not that Adam will ever give up the theme that he has, but we'd like to hear what you think.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're a songwriter and want to write a new theme, anyway, that's crazy.
Yeah, Adele, Tay-Tay,
Yes.
you know, all those people who listen to us. If you want to write us a little song, Elton, that'd be good.
And the more you put in of your own work, obviously, the more we'll be able to play on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just a little bit wary about copyright and Doctor Who. They have millions of dollars and we have nothing.
Yeah,
So.
pretty much. Oh, hang on. I found 10 cents before on the floor.
Oh, great. So our budget has doubled. But we will put the full thing up on Facebook so everyone can enjoy it. Thank you again, Ruben. I am the Doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. My planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got 2 hearts, your life is saved. Run into the Master Raw Messi. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not rich. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else? Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run! What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity? Sorry, I must dash. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey, wibbly wobbly. Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor. This has been a production of The Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?